Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is a very exciting day today. We are joined by Deborah.
Hi.
This is my second ever in-person case study. We are here in Dubai, which I absolutely love. And yeah, myself and Deborah have met for the first time today, and we are recording this. We are super excited to be here celebrating a huge milestone for Deborah. So to give you a bit of background, I started working with Deborah around 2.5 months ago. We've just been calculating it now, which is crazy because that is no time at all to be sitting here. And I remember speaking to Deborah about her goals and kind of what she was looking to achieve with working with me and in the remote sales space. And for her, it was very much 10K and beyond is kind of where she wants to go. And I remember distinctly talking about the actions of someone needed to be able to achieve that type of income, right? Because that is not easy. And Deborah pretty much said, fine by me, I'm ready to get to work. And I loved that energy. And she very much has. And now we're sitting here today celebrating her first ever 11K month in remote sales. It's incredible. Within 2.5 months, guys, of working together. It's insane. And I think with Deborah, I really noticed a few distinct characters and actions she did from the get-go that really allowed her to propel herself here in such a short amount of time. And I can't wait to share those with you today, because I know if you're watching this and you're wanting to get into this space, you're going to learn so much from the mindset and from the drive that Deborah has. So yeah, super excited to be here. Let's get into it.
I'm excited too.
I'd love to know for yourself, walk us back. Tell us a bit more about your background, your journey, wanting to get into the remote sales space and kind of what's led you here.
Yeah, so background wise, I was working at one of the top luxury real estate firms doing sales there. But when I got in there, they told me that, okay, because I don't have any experience, I literally would knock on doors trying to just get in and pitch myself. I was going to be on no commission for 2 years.
Wow.
So it was just a bit of a mess. I remember one time when I closed on, it was a £6 million house. I didn't get any commission for it. And I was just like, yeah, this is a long day. So from there, I was like, okay. And I really wanted to kind of be an entrepreneur. So that ended. I went into real estate entrepreneurship. I was doing a strategy called deal sourcing. And then from there, I was on stage at a business event with one of, the big property entrepreneur that I said I worked with. And I was doing a sales role play. And then he was like, what? You're really, really good. And then he messaged me on Instagram and basically said, look, I want you to come and do sales for me. So that's kind of how I got into high ticket sales with him. And he was a really, really big property coach. He had a $16K offer. So I was like, oh, okay, what's this? I don't really know what was going on. And that was in person, right? So It was very different. You could kind of close people over a week. But then when I compared it to my own business, I was like, this is so much funner. I love the ability to you're kind of just speaking to people and helping them make a change in their life, which I invested in the coaching myself as well for my own business. I was like, this is great. I really love this. And I don't know, it was a lot nicer than I guess the slog work after with my own business. Once you've closed someone, you have to do a lot in terms of fulfillment. Whereas this, it's you have the conversation, you close the deal, you collect the cash. I was like, okay, cool, that's fun. However, it was in person, and I wasn't making the full commission that we make in some of these roles that you mentioned, in terms of 10% commission, etc. So I was like, okay, there's potential, because we were doing 150K months there, with me and the partner that I was working with. So I was like, okay, there's potential, this could actually be a thing. So when that offer owner retired, I was like, no, I want to get into this. But remote sales is different in the sense that you have to close someone in that hour. You don't have a week to close them. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go and get some training with someone that, is really good. In terms of the remote sales aspect. And then I saw you, and there's no one else as well for people that are in the UK. I've not really seen anyone that's in the UK that's a woman as well. Like the other people I've done training with were men, and then you have like feminine energy. You're able to close the deals with a lot of like feminine energy. So I was like, okay, I need some of that. Like I don't want to just be the way I was doing it before was very dogged. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like I could really, really learn from that.
I love that, 100%. And you clearly have had like a mind for business entrepreneurship from very early on, which I think we have a lot in common in that way, because obviously I had a business beforehand as well. So where do you think that's come from, like to start your own business? Because we'll definitely touch on that, for you to get into the roles that you did even before you got into remote sales. Like where did that mindset come from
In terms of business?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know what's wrong with me. Like the first day I was in my actual job, it was like the perfect job. It was literally the top real estate firm in the country. And I remember I was in the bathroom and I was watching a video, and it was like, okay, how you can leave your 9 to 5. And my dad was like, why are you listening to this on your first day at work? So I guess, I don't know, I've always been very entrepreneurial, or just wanted to kind of have my own thing and be able to, I know it's not necessarily your own thing like that in remote sales, but just be able to control your time and your location. Like literally now, how I was saying to Shelly before, like I'm here in Dubai for a month with some of my other friends that are entrepreneurs and in property and stuff, and I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like, you know?
It's crazy. It's pretty cool. And that's what I love so much about sales. And I think I speak to so many girls in the community who also love it, is that, like you said, you don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to wear all the hats. You don't have to have all the stresses of all the different things. All you have to do, don't get me wrong, it's a hard skill that you have to learn, just to preface, but all you have to do is have your laptop or Wi-Fi connection and the skill, and you can earn more money than most business owners.
Literally.
In that hour.
Because in my other business, which is deal sourcing, you can slog. So I shouldn't use that word. I should use a more feminine word. But yeah, you do a lot of work, and some people never even get to the 10K months.
Yeah.
And you're having to learn marketing, you're having to learn fulfillment, you're having to learn this, that, and the other. Whereas with high ticket sales, I mean, you just have to pray and hope that they're doing what they need to do with the marketing and everything.
Yeah.
But provided that it is a good offer and the leads are coming in, you're just focusing on learning one skill.
Yeah.
And I just thought it's a lot simpler.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Being in sales, I was so much happier than running my own business personally for me. Balancing all those different things and life outside, a social life and family.
Yeah.
I think it's good at a certain age if when you're like super young, but when you want to grow older, and maybe, not that I'm very old, but when you want to grow older and start having families and things like that, having your own business is quite a lot. I think that's why we have so many mums actually in the program who do sales, because they can kind of step back and you can have that work-life balance almost of you being able to travel, right? And then also earning great money.
Yeah, I prefer this to my business.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone I said that. Yeah.
It's crazy. And regarding obviously your mindset with mentorship, where has that come from? Because I remember I was speaking with Kira, who I did a case study with. She's also from the UK, and we were discussing a lot that it's just not a normal thing in the UK. Like everyone's quite judgmental about it. The first thing that someone will say is, oh, you're being scammed. So like, where did that come from you to be so open to investing in training?
Yeah. So I read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. One thing he's always said, it's a bit different, but it's the same context. He's always said, look, invest in your education before you invest in anything, right? In terms of assets. So a lot of people, they'll go into property or they'll go into stocks and they'll think, I can figure it out by myself. Let me just do it. And then they lose money. And it's like, why didn't you just take that money, invest it in someone that's actually done it before, learn from them, and then do it? And I think because in property, I've probably invested like 20K or more into programs, but I have seen results from them, like if you do apply yourself. Yeah. So unless you genuinely have like a lot of mistrust with the person, if you believe they've done like what they say they've done, I don't see why you wouldn't just put your coin down and do what you need to do.
And I think you said a really interesting thing was if you apply yourself. And I think that is the difference. Yes, there are programs in all different industries that aren't good, that don't have good fulfillment, and of course you've got to do your research, but there are also so many amazing programs and coaching and mentorship that can really change everything, as we both know for us. So I think that is something that you and I always did, and especially for you coming into my program. I don't know if you recognize this in yourself, but you were on every live call. You asked questions, like I'm not kidding. You asked questions every single week. You role played every single week. You were in my DMs on school every single week. Like, you were like new to the program, and you'd be the first one putting yourself out there, volunteering, asking questions, doing what most people won't do. And that is the secret. I think people want the secret, but that is the secret. It's coming in and just being like a sponge. What are your thoughts to that?
Yeah, so when I spoke to Shelly at the beginning, I was like, okay, cool. She was telling me some of the different ways to get offers, and I won't say all of them because we've got to keep the tea for people that join the program. However, one way that she did mention was referrals and just being referred by like a mentor, because obviously the person that's working with the mentor, they're going to have trust in them, if that makes sense. So you'll be shined upon in a better light. I don't know how to say it, but along those lines. So I was like, okay, Shelly, like, what's it going to take for me to be referred by you? And she was like, yeah, just join every call, role play. Obviously, she needs to see your sales skills because she doesn't want to recommend someone and then they're not really up to scratch. So I said, okay, cool. So yeah, that's pretty much just what I did. I did the most. I did the most.
You literally did. And I saw people in the community, like every week you'd improve by miles, like genuinely, and people were like, wow, Deborah's so amazing. I'm like, guys, you just gotta do it, you gotta practice, you know what I mean? Like, that is the secret. And I see so many girls in the community who do that, who show up and who just practice, and it's amazing, like the skill difference in 4 weeks. Like, I always like to say, like, 4 weeks of sales training is all you need to get your foot in the door, like base level, if you are obsessed. And that was pretty much you. Getting feedback all the time. I love it. It's my favorite thing to see, because I was the same as well. Like, coming into this industry, I would just want all the attention, like from any mentor, any manager, offer owner, like, answer my questions, watch my calls, help me. Because I'm thinking, well, no one else is volunteering, so I might as well,
for sure,
take it.
Literally,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love it. And I guess bringing us to the program, so how did you find me, and what made you want to work together?
Yeah, so obviously you have your YouTube channel. It's lovely. She speaks about feminine energy sometimes, just leveling up in general. So I think I saw your first video about 0 to 30K.
Yeah.
And I invested in training with like male mentors before, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, like, they're amazing. However, I think just learning from a woman is so like different. It's really, really nice. So when I was like, oh, there's a woman in the UK that's actually doing high ticket sales and has done well for herself, I was like, no way, like, I need to I need to invest in this. And yeah, I loved the way you kind of taught sales from more of a feminine perspective. And I loved that. I was like, yeah, I need to get some of that.
Yeah, 100%. And what did you think about, like, honestly, like, coming into the program? You've invested in multiple programs in the past. Like, what have you thought about the program overall from someone on the outside looking in? Like, what's your perspective of it?
Yeah, so I would say compared to the programs I've done maybe in like other spaces like business, I loved it. Like, I think it was so detailed. Very, very extremely detailed. She has like different things set out as well. And for me, to be honest, I wasn't really that obsessed with the offer acquisition part. I felt like I had pretty good connections in terms of I could potentially do that. However, I feel like even if you get on an offer, everyone's very concerned about, oh, I want guaranteed placement, etc. I want to get on the offer. But if you get on the offer and you don't perform, like, I've seen people in my offer, within a week, they're looking to boot you.
Yeah.
So I was very like, okay, I don't want to just go into like a course that's all about offer acquisition. I want something that's genuinely going to go through the skill set. And I think compared to another program I was going to take as well from another woman, because I really wanted a woman to teach me sales as well. I met a lot of people that were on their program, even in my offer right now, and it, like, they weren't performing with the other program because it was very focused on offer acquisition. And I think with you, it's broad, like, it covers everything. So you have the different modules, you have offer acquisition, the personal branding module, networking, but then you also have like pure just skill set modules, and you really go through that as well, and it's an equal balance. So I think that was like really, really good. Yeah.
Nice. And do you think like with you being able to just go into an offer and hit the ground running, do you feel like the support, because we don't speak as much now because obviously you're super busy, but like we used to speak a lot, and like you would get a lot of support kind of tailoring things. Do you think that was beneficial to you like throughout your time?
Of course. Yeah, of course. So I would say during the second month when I was on the offer, Shelley said this yourself, like when you get on the offer, it's just going to be busy.
Yeah.
So I wasn't 100%. Able to join the calls anymore. However, that month going into the offer, all the feedback you gave, very, very useful. Even just there's certain things I use today specifically from your training rather than like other people's trainings as well, in terms of the price drop, just, you know, the temperature check and so on and so forth, that I think works chef's kiss.
It does.
Yeah. And yeah, just being able to ask, okay, you know, what did I do wrong here? Having you go over it and say maybe how you'd have said it. Yeah. That was like very beneficial as well.
It's super interesting, isn't it? Like how granular you have to be with these things. Like I think anyone can learn the skill of sales, but like to be really good at it and to like pick up on these tiny little details and then change them and tweak them to really perform, it takes a certain type of person. Like how has that been for you learning? Obviously you already had a background in sales before, so like transitioning into remote sales, because I know I speak to a lot of women who are in like corporate sales, real estate. So how has that been like coming in and transitioning over?
In terms of, what would you say specifically?
Like the mindset needed. Like, would you say they're very similar and it's been an easy transition? Or would you say remote sales kind of surprised you with the intricacy of all the details to close someone in an hour?
Yeah. So when I was doing my other high ticket sales role, we had all the time in the world. Like we could literally touch point with them first day, second day, third day. A lot of people get closed on the third day. But it just meant that you could be a little bit more laid back with it. Yeah. Whereas remote sales is like, you've got this 45 minutes or this 1 hour. Like you need to go through a set buying process to kind of put them in the buyer's frame of mind to then be able to close them at the end of a call. So I think it is different in terms of the mindset for sure. I think in terms of if you've done entrepreneurship or sales in general, I think it's just very beneficial because... I agree. Yeah, very, very beneficial. But either way, mindset is something you choose, right? So just wake up and say, I'm going to collect some cash, I'm going to do it.
Literally. And literally, that's so funny. I used to, when I was closing, I used to be like, right, 2 deals today. And it would happen. Because I'd just like put it out into the universe and it would happen. And be like, I'm done now. And I'd have like 5 other calls on my calendar. And be like, I want to just get it back into bed. Like, I've done my deals.
Literally, like during my first 2 weeks of my offer, I was just trying to get to know the people, so it wasn't as good. But most of that 11K was in the last 2 weeks. And I was just like, okay, cool. I've understood the offer now. 1K day, 1K day, 1K day. And that's crazy. So you do have to kind of have that mindset, like waking up, like I'm going to collect some money today, and also help people change their life and make a new decision.
Of course, obviously we wouldn't sell an offer that isn't ethical. Yeah. So it kind of comes hand in hand, isn't it? You make the money, you help people change their lives.
Yeah, because my life has changed from all the things I've invested in as well. And I think you're always saying that, listen, if you want to be a closer, how are you trying to be a closer and you've not invested in sales training? Because the whole role of it is getting someone who's maybe a bit fearful to invest in themselves, to make a change in their life. But if you can't 100%. Do that,
listen to that, guys. The objection you give is the objection you get. Like, I will stand by this. This is like a topic I could talk on all day, and it's just my opinion, but people who think that they can do this industry, and I'm not just saying this because I have a program, like before I had a program I would say this, the people who think they can get into this industry and not invest in their mentorship and sales training, I think it's bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've never met any successful person in high ticket sales who hasn't invested.
You'll literally be saying on a call, invest in this, it's going to change your life, and you've never invested
in
anything.
Done it. It's bizarre.
That's actually crazy.
It's bizarre. And I guess with this in mind, like, what does it take to be an 11K a month closer, to be making over 10K? That's most people's dream, and obviously you've done it. Like, what does it take to get there?
Interesting. I would say number one, just kind of having that self-belief. I think that's the first part for a lot of people, because 100%. For me, once I'd kind of seen it, like my other offer I was on, the top closer was making 25k. And I was like, what?
You've seen it.
And that was pounds, right? So they were making like $35k. So I was like, okay, cool. This is realistic. Because first things first, a lot of people come into this and say, oh, no, that's not realistic.
Too good to be true.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time.
And it's not. Literally, I have friends that are making 100k a month. Do you know what I mean? So I think kind of putting yourself in an environment, and that goes back into mentorship as well, where you see that it's possible. Because if you're in a mentorship group, you'll see, okay, other mentees, etc., that are doing certain things, you'll be like, okay, I can do that. You know, if you have that mindset.
Surround yourself with.
Yeah. And then I would say number two, just like, having that drive and really focusing on your skill set rather than just the money you're trying to make. So when I came into this offer, it was a new offer. So Shelley was even saying like it's kind of surprising, I guess, I was able to make that in this offer. Versus my old offer that I was on. It was so established, it'd been going for like 15 years. The brand was really good, whereas this was a bit different. And so I feel like my main focus going into the offer, I wasn't just like, okay, I didn't tell them I wanted to hit 10k a month. They said, what's your expectations? I said, oh yeah, just like 3 to 5k or something like that. Especially because I had my own business as well, so I wasn't dependent on it. But as Shelley said, just focus on the skill set. So every day I was like, number one, if a sale didn't close, it's my fault. What did I do wrong? Reviewing that and changing that. And then number two, having the mindset of, look, forget the money, like the money's going to come. What can I actually do to be like the top closer on this offer? What can I do to have the best skill set? Because if you have the best skill set and you're the top of the leaderboard, naturally you're going to collect, you're going to hit those targets.
100%. I think that's super important for you to mention that, because the money, forget about the money, which is easier said than done. But honestly, from looking at all my clients, the ones who don't put money as a priority are the ones who do the best. By far, same as me. If you come in and you're like, I want to make 20, 30, 40k a month, you kind of get super, in my opinion, you get super caught up in the making the money that you're so focused on it that you don't actually do the inputs needed.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people forget, because it seems, obviously we're sitting here today, so for someone watching this, it could seem so easy. Like, oh yeah, Deborah just made 10k or 11k, now she's in Dubai and everything's great. But it's like, Deborah's probably up till God knows what time in the morning, balancing sales calls and this and that and the other in another time zone. And like, she's doing the work behind the scenes. And I honestly think that is like, what if you could take anything away from this for people watching, it's stop focusing on like the end result. Like the woman you want to be, I always say, is in the journey. It's not on the destination. It's in the showing up on the hard days when you don't feel like it. It's literally doing the thing that no one else will do to get the thing no one else has.
Yeah. 100%.
It's like we need that like quote on the wall or something. If you want what you've never had, you have to do what you've never done. And I think that alone, I think you've definitely followed that by...
I tell that to clients too when they're trying to run away and not pay. I'm like, listen, if you want what you never had, you have to do what you've never done.
Yeah, that 100%. Changed my life, that quote. I think it's amazing. But yeah, I agree. And on this note, I mean, another thing that you've been able to do, you're like a powerhouse. Deborah's not only made 11k in high ticket sales, she's also made 16k in her own business in the same month, which is insane. How do you balance it all?
Yeah, I can't lie, it's a bit of a mess, just to be transparent. Yeah. But yeah, with the business, I would say, so the 16k I was able to close, I haven't fulfilled all of them yet. However, the skill is getting the money in, right? So with the business I have, obviously it's a property business, sourcing as well. A lot of people within the business, I would say, they've not necessarily developed sales skills, if that makes sense, because it's just a property business. You're thinking about property. Whereas realistically, to actually get the money in your bank account, and all my investors, they've all prepaid me up front, and that's quite hard to get people to do. So when I was, about to take your program, I remember I told you, because I was kind of on the fence, to be honest.
She was.
I wasn't the best prospect.
She wasn't. She was on the fence. I was like, why are we on the fence?
Because I was like, because I already had that business, and I was like, oh, do I really want to do this high ticket sales thing as well? But I was like, look, at the end of the day, I can still use the skills for my own business if I decide not to go into it. So why not?
And that's what we discussed, wasn't it? Because I get, sorry to interrupt, but I get a few women who come to me who are like have a business or have other things on the side. And I'm like, you can use that as your skill to benefit your business, which is obviously
for sure. So instead of just like, I used to just pitch normally and just pitch, okay, I've done this, I worked at this top luxury real estate agency, etc. But then kind of learning more of the discovery process and taking people down like a buyer's mindset. I didn't just go straight into talking on the calls. It was more about asking questions, figuring out why they didn't want to find the property for themselves, widening the gap. And then that enabled me. So the first week I was able to close 4 investors in a week, and that was a 16k. And then obviously I'm still fulfilling it now. That's the stress of it. That's why I recommend high ticket sales, because I'm out here stressed.
That's incredible.
But
if anyone wants deal sourcing, they know where to find you.
You know where to find me.
That's amazing. So you've not only been able to use the skill of sales and in like remote sales, but also your business to generate that type of cash.
It's really, really
How
good.
old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
24.
Incredible. I'm 25.
Oh, really? Okay.
I love that. I love that for us. I think, being a young woman and being able to have the skill to generate that type of income in a month, that's like nearly 30k in a month, is so empowering. And I think more women, hence why I started this program, to enable many women as I can to learn the skill, because it's life-changing, isn't it, for a woman to be able to have that control over her schedule, her bank balance, her time. It's pretty incredible.
I love it. I love it here.
I love it. And what is your take on being a woman in sales? Obviously, you said in the past you've been in quite male-dominated mentorships and environments, and now you coming in and being in a female community, and obviously you now being in remote sales. Do you feel that we have an advantage, or what's your take?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. So on my offer right now, there were a couple of people I ended up referring, but before then, it was just men on the offer. And I love, being around the guys. It's calm. It's okay. At the same time, I would say the advantage you have being a woman compared to some of the men I saw on the offer, which I'm now like top of the leaderboard on that offer. We were speaking about it, and it's kind of the empathy, because a lot of guys, they just can't fake it. They can't fake it. They can't fake that they care. Like, they've got commission breath 10 minutes into the call.
100%.
And so as someone that's buying, like, imagine you're just here trying to say, okay, this is the problem I'm having, but I really do want to go into this, and you're a bit fearful, and the guys just come on, like, get to it. You can tell they just want to make their commission. And I think as a woman, you have the advantage of being able to sit back and actually empathize and be like, oh, how is that? And it's really good when digging into pain, because pain's what drives the sale, right? When you have that empathy, because it allows people to open up a bit more, and it comes from more of a place of, and I'm not saying this isn't even genuine, like genuine, you have to kind of care to change your life as well. But them being able to see that care, like, oh, how is that? Like, how has that actually impacted you? It allows them to open up more. And then nearer the end of the call, obviously, when you do want to change their life and close the sale, you are able to say, look, well, you're here right now. If life doesn't change, if we don't make a difference, would I be correct in saying that it's going to be this, it's going to be this, it's going to be that? Because they have opened up to you. Whereas with some of the other men on my offer, we were speaking about this with one of the other top closers on my offer, they don't open us up as much sometimes, because men can be very straight to the point. And then when you want to do things like the cost of inaction or showing them if they don't change their life, what's going to happen, you haven't really got that, because you haven't allowed 100%. Them to open up.
100%. It's being able to tap into your intuition and EQ, I think, which is a big one. I remember when I was managing a sales team, I had to teach guys how to use their feminine energy. And it was a bizarre concept, but it worked. They did really well. And I think that is the advantage of being a woman, and you don't have to, and like you said, you don't have to be that pushy. you've gone from probably being more masculine energy, being more pushy, to like seeing a different side.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I feel like, yeah, I've taken what I have from my male mentors, and I love the way that they're very straight to the point.
Yeah.
Like, let's collect the money. I think you do have to have an element of that as well.
You do.
But in terms of the feminine side, yeah, you have to have the duality.
I agree. It's actually super important, because without the masculine energy, you're not cut out for sales. Like, you need some oomph in you, that work ethic, that drive, but then the feminine softness, so you're not burnt out, you're not pushing all the time, you're not chasing, you're attracting.
I love that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
How has life changed for you, do you think?
I think, yeah, I would say especially after I kind of exit a bit more out of my business in terms of that strategy, and I just straight property invest, I think it will change a lot more. But yeah, I think it's just being able to have a skill that I know is completely, it's not location dependent.
Yeah, 100%.
Property, I love property, but it is very much like when I was in America the month before, I need to get back to the UK because I need to go and check out this and that.
Yeah.
And it's great. But with remote sales, you know, transitioning into this, especially from like an in-person role, you can be anywhere.
It's pretty cool.
Literally, I might not even go back to the UK in the next
That's
3
what
months.
I did. I came for a couple of weeks and I never went back.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so crazy. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I would say I love that. I think as well, business as well, when you have your own business, not to say that this is like a motivation for sales, but it can be a bit like just lonely sometimes, because you're just in your room by yourself trying to sort out this fulfillment. Whereas sales, it is also nice because it's kind of that balance, you know, between when a lot of people leave their jobs and they start their businesses, they kind of missed having the colleagues and this and that. And it's kind of nice if you are in a good sales team, which I'm really happy I'm in, to be able to have, you know, those colleagues and you touch base and this and that, but you're still in control of your own time, and it's not like you're turning up to the office with the rainy sky. It's like, another day on the train.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you can kind of skip the commute. Because I actually do get asked that a lot about kind of, is sales quite lonely and quite isolating? And I do agree. I think if you're not on a good team, or if you're not in a mentorship program where you have women around you, because I know we do a lot of role play, so you're connecting with like a lot of different women that you'd never have met before. I think that's the beauty of it, is meeting purely like-minded people who opted in to do the exact same skill as you.
Yeah.
So they have the exact same mindset as you. Whereas if you're in like a workplace, you're only around these people because they live in the same area as you.
Yeah,
you probably
that's
have
so true.
nothing in common, which I think's pretty cool to build like connections and friendships.
Yeah, for sure. Like in terms of Shelley's group specifically, compared to other groups I've been in, obviously because it's all women, it's really, really nice. Because everyone's like, you know, girl power, we're here to just, you know, talk to each other.
Everyone's super supportive, which I never knew how it would go with like a female community.
Yeah, it's interesting. They always say we're, you know, very gossipy and catty.
But it's not at all, is it?
Yeah, no, it's
like, I'm not just saying that. Like, I genuinely have never seen it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
No, I love it. And everyone hops on role plays with each other and this and that. And yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah,
being in mentorship and the sales team as well.
And what do your family think of kind of you doing this? Going from like being in the top real estate firm, very conventional, I'm sure they were very proud of that.
Yeah.
To you just quitting and doing something completely different.
Yeah. So I was, to be honest, with my job, it's very funny. So at the beginning of my job, I always we had a group of us and they were like, so what's your long-term vision? Someone wanted to be an interior designer. I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, why am I saying this on my first day of work? But I actually was made redundant from that job. I was fired from it.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a really weird situation because my manager, it was actually from a different department. So I think I'd contacted somebody that was meant to be for the private office that was on my call list. And then private offices, these are billionaires. So I got in a lot of trouble for it. And it was so sad because I was top of the leaderboard on, not top of the leaderboard, but I was I'd hit all my sales targets. My manager didn't even know I got fired. He was messaging me on LinkedIn like, Deborah, why did you leave? Come back. But I remember that day before I left, 2 other people had quit that day. And they were like, Deborah, what's going on with you? I thought you wanted to be an entrepreneur. I thought you wanted to do your own thing. I was like, yeah, in the future. So I genuinely feel like, because that was right before I got fired, right? I just feel like it was, God's timing. Like I was meant to,
100%.
And so I would say with my parents specifically, obviously it's always nice when you have this brand name, etc. and whatever. But I've just been very like blessed in the sense that I went from there to working with the top property entrepreneur like in the country. Like that's probably the best high ticket sales role you could ever have. And I still guess I was working with, big names. At the same time, my parents, they're never really going to fully understand. They're just like, my mom, when I told my mom the number, she's like, oh, is it okay? She's very much like a real job. Yeah. But don't worry, we're going to spoil her with some things and she'll come around.
Yeah, I love that. So for you wouldn't say your parents were not supportive, but they also weren't like jumping at the idea, would you say, of like the remote sales?
Yeah, because I mean, to be fair, it wasn't so much with the remote sales because I went into entrepreneurship straight away. So I would say just in general, anything around that's not like a
Something
set job.
different.
Yeah. But I mean, they saw the things that were happening with entrepreneurship. They were like, okay. But I think it's just a thing of they can't really ever see it as like a real job. But they are very supportive in the fact that like even my dad told me when I got fired, he was like, look, you've always wanted to do your own thing. Like you're never really going to be happy in this role. So it is what it is.
100%. It's super interesting, isn't it? Like our parents' generation, I hear that so often. It's just normal. Like to them, it's like, what are you doing? Like it's not in a bad way, but like what is it? Because the same, like my parents are very supportive too. But when I started, like my sister is the education route. She's very well, she's a teacher. I mean, you can't get any more education than that. And then here comes me, like, cannot stick in a job for more than 6 months. Like, cannot do it. I hate every job I ever work in. I'm job to job, trying to find the thing that made sense for me. And then it's this business, and then that didn't work, and then it's the sales, and thank goodness this worked.
Yeah.
And they were like, what is going on?
Same. I think my parents very much with me, they felt like I was hopping from thing to thing. But everything all works together in the end, I always say, because like so I was a speaker before. I probably spoke at like 150 schools in the UK.
Wow.
Those skills you still use in sales. Or even within real estate, there were certain things in terms of cold calling that I had to do that I used for my business. And then you're even able to use when you're maybe setting people or just qualifying them before your call. So I always say, everything works together. And at the end of the day, yes, my parents, when they saw I was trying to hop from my business to remote sales now, they were like, what are you doing again? But you have to just be like, okay, if you find an opportunity and it fits you more, like life's a journey, you're on a journey. And so I don't think there's any shame in letting go of something that isn't even serving you in the first place.
I agree, and I think that's super valuable to take away, because there are women watching this, because we have a few lovely girls in the program who did what they were supposed to do. They went to uni, they got the education to make their parents proud, they got the corporate role in the high paying job, etc., and they have this immense guilt that if they hop to something else, then it's like they're throwing it all away. But actually, I love your perspective, because every experience you have in life, you can draw from that to elevate yourself and your skill set, which is what you did.
And to be honest, I feel like, especially, I know there's people from different ages, etc., but especially if you're young, if you're not gonna do it now when you don't have kids and you have less responsibilities, when are you really going to do it? And you can always go back. Like, if I really wanted to go back into real estate, even with my manager, I did really well with him. I could definitely wiggle my way back in.
Out.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you can always go back, maybe a bit harder. Maybe you've, spent a year out or whatever. What really is there to lose? Like
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. And I guess to just finalize then, Deborah, if there are girls watching this who, I mean, from anywhere around the world really, but I know the UK is a big one and close to home for us. Like, if anyone's watching this sitting on the fence, scared to take this step, scared to kind of push themselves, what would you say for them coming into this?
I would say, you know what, I'm going to use one of your reframes, right? You're standing on this mountain right here. And, you know, life is going the way it's going. You're quite disappointed with how things are working out. You're working the 9 to 5, you're tired, you're drained. And you see this mountain over here. And it's like there's girls, you know, like me and Shelly that have made 10K months consistently, are doing what they want to do, are traveling to different countries and so on and so forth. And it's like you want to get here, but you look down and the jump is super scary, right? And you're thinking, oh my gosh. But here's the thing. The longer you look down at the jump, the more paralyzed you're going to be. And if you do want to get to the side, ultimately at some point, you're going to have to jump. Yeah. So why not now?
100%. That's it. We'll wrap it up there, guys. That is sales 101. Why not jump? 100%. I think if you want what you've never had, we go back to it. You've got to do what you've never done. And Deborah is proof of that. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
So lovely to meet you, and obviously to have this conversation. I know this will inspire so many girls watching this. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching. And if you are a woman sitting on the fence, standing on that mountain, looking down, scared to jump, I'd urge you to go to my bio, book a call with myself and my team. We can discuss your goals and look to build a plan of action together so you too can follow in similar footsteps to Deborah. See you in the next one.
Bye.